Hello guys, welcome to IAMABIKER.com. Well, finally, after almost a year's wait, we get to ride the Ather 450X. So let's see what it's all about. So first of all, I have to say this, it is a welcome change just to look at it, right? Like for example, we see some of those non-conventional brands apart from, Bajaj and TVS also in the electric scooter space, and they look, very weird, and, body panels from some other scooters, and Ather being a rather new entrant, they've been there for a couple of years now, but they have paid a lot of attention in making it look like a proper sporty scooter. It has all the design quirks that will always make you give it a second look. So I'm happy in that way right from the start. So you look at it and okay, I need to give attention to this. So let's get some numbers out of the way. One is that it's got a 6 kilowatt motor, 26 Nm of torque, and 108 kgs of weight. The beauty is in how all of this comes together. So you have 4 riding modes that is available. Basically, you have the eco mode, you have the ride mode, you have the sport mode, and of course you have the the all power mode, the warp mode. Just as the name sounds, in the eco mode you have just about power to power around town, relative speeds about somewhere around 40, and as you go higher up in the modes, you have more throttle responsiveness and also more higher speeds possible. So obviously, depending on those modes, your range also changes. So in eco mode, on a full charge, you get approximately somewhere between 75 to 80 kilometers per hour, and that's what we were getting. We're getting close to 70 kilometers on eco mode, and 70, 72, with my weight, etc. But then as you go higher, but the thing is, after eco mode, you really feel like riding only in the warp mode. It's either full economy or full power, right? So in the warp mode, things are very different. The scooter is a beast. It actually accelerates quite fast, and in fact, faster than most of the 125cc scooters out there. So definitely a lot of fun in warp mode. But of course, in warp mode, the range comes down to somewhere close to 40 on a full charge, which is probably just about enough for basic, going to the shop and things like that. And if you're planning to use it as your daily, going to office, 10 kilometers, 50 kilometers office and back, then obviously you need to use it in either of the eco mode or probably even the ride or sport modes if it's not a huge distance. So range is one side of things, right? I think for most people, for the daily commute, up and down, a total of about 40-50 kilometers is sufficient. If you're just going to office and back, that should be sufficient. But the most important thing is charging and charging time. So there are 2 options to charge. One is of course the portable charger, and then is the fast charger unit that you get with the scooter, that you can install it at your home. So again, there's a catch over there. You need, if you're staying at a home or if you're staying in an apartment, you need to be able to fix it there, right? And on the normal portable charger, that just basically goes on to the normal plug point, which is the 5 amp one. It takes about I believe 5 hours and 45 minutes for a full charge. And so technically think of it as something you plug in at night, and it's a full charge in the morning, and you take it and go. So you need to plan your charging, because the infrastructure is still not that up. Of course, Ather and other electric scooter manufacturers are trying to increase that, but as of now, it's a bit tricky to get it charged. But if your commute is less than, let's say, to be comfortable, less than 60 kilometers, then definitely not a problem. The one thing that I absolutely love about it, apart from of course the instantaneous reaction to the throttle in warp mode, is how it sounds. It sounds very sci-fi as you ring the throttle. It's very instantaneous in warp mode, but the sound, the way it builds up, you sort of get addicted to that sound, and it took a while for me to get used to it, because so I was not used to that, of course, not riding an electric scooter, not riding much of electric scooters before. But once you get addicted to that sort of sound, You wish, you could always stay in walk mode, and you wish, this had like a 20 kilometers range so that you could keep doing that, and just to hear that and the way it accelerates forward, it's really beautiful. So there's this general conception that electric scooters will be heavy due to, of course, they need to have a lot of batteries, and batteries are still heavy, and we still quite some time away from having a battery that is really efficient in terms of giving us huge ranges with a single charge. But that said, Ather have managed to keep the weight at 108 kgs, which is at par with most of the scooters out there, maybe plus or minus few kgs. And the way they have handled the weight, as in the battery is under the footboard, so that naturally gives this whole scooter a low center of gravity, and that has again resulted in excellent handling for the scooter. So when you're out riding, and when you're when you want to have some sporty fun, especially when you're in the sport or the warp thing, and when you're really pushing the scooter, the low center of gravity makes it very simple and very nimble in traffic, and it gives you a lot of confidence, and you never feel that any difficulty in handling the scooter. So the front end is a bit light, and you also have a very short turning radius, again quite helpful in city traffic conditions, where you want to avoid potholes and get between spaces and things like that. But the front suspensions are a bit on the stiffer side, so that probably is affecting and making handling better. But on the flip side, the odd potholes do catch you by surprise and do give you a little bit of a jolt on the handlebars. At the same time, the rear suspension is actually quite soft. It's quite comfortable, and quite comfortable even with the pillion. And that's also one thing I should add, is the seat is also quite soft, and it's quite comfortable for the daily commute. So visually, when you look at the scooter, you immediately think it would look much more well balanced with a fatter, wider section rear tire. But from a usage point of view, I never felt you need anything more. Like, you're not going to do those corner craving things on this scooter, right? I mean, you basically you want something that is easy to ride, weave through traffic, have a little bit fun on it, of course, but you don't need anything more than these to do that. That said, Ather is also giving an option to put on the TVS Remora tires on this, basically the ones that you see on the NTORQ. That probably would make the handling a little bit more fun, but at the same time those are wider profile tires, so it can affect your range as well. Now, coming to the braking side of things, well, the good thing is that it's got disc brakes at both ends, and I must say that they're quite progressive in terms of usage and the application, so that it's not like you jam it and you sort of lose the front end. No scenes like that. So to bring it to a halt, you basically need to use both the brakes, and of course it's got the combi braking as well. So a net of safety, but definitely good to have disc brakes at both ends, right? So conventionally, most of the electric scooters in India use the hub motor, which is basically the motors on the wheel hub itself. But Ather uses a belt-driven system in which the motor is now closer to the battery pack, and it's actually centrally located. So this also actually helps in the mass centralization, and also giving it a lower center of gravity, like I told you before. Again, directly affecting the quality of ride as well. So one of the key attractions on the Ather 450X is the 7-inch touchscreen display system, and I must say it's quite responsive. It's it's not laggy, and I'm happy they've not tried to cut corners over there. It's quite responsive, and with the app you have basic controls over the console as well. You can control the brightness. There is light mode, there is dark mode. You can even carry copies of your documents as photographs on this device. So that's good, and also you can connect it via the Ather app. Now, when you connect it via the Ather app, you can send in navigation details and all sorts of. You can take the information from the scooter as well, as in trip details, charge, and even when you're charging, you can remotely check how much it has been charged. So a lot of interesting, tech-savvy features. At the same time, this scooter also has a 4G SIM in it. So it also gives you live location of it, etc., via the app, and it gives you all the trip details and a lot of other things. And also this panel has got Bluetooth. Again, it connects to the app. You can answer calls and change music and things like that. So on the whole, a good looking, responsive device. I wish the reflection was handled in some way, maybe a small panel here or maybe some top layer different, but in other ways, in terms of usable, in terms of actually having a lot of features, it's quite good. So another interesting feature that I like on the scooter is the park assist mode. So in India, we know how we park, right? Everything's congested and there's often very less leg room to push the bike back or things like that. And also for elderly people, probably pushing the bike back is not so easy. So now with this, you can put it into park assist mode, and there's reverse and forward options. When you are in a tight spot and you want to reverse out, put it into reverse, and at a minimum speed, once you give the throttle, it sort of pulls itself back out of whatever situation you're locked up in. Also, it goes at the same thing forward as well. Now coming to the typical scooter things, like you need some underseat storage, right? But there's enough storage here. It fits a decently sized full face helmet as well, and of course there's a light over here as well, which makes it easier to operate and see things in the dark. So that's good. And of course a hook up front as well, for you to hang your bags and stuff like that. And they haven't forgotten the usability factor, so which is also good, which you see in some of these other electric scooters. They don't give too much about those things. Overall, the build quality is quite good, and I don't see anything that is badly put together. I do wish this panel, the panel right here, that is on which the LCD is embedded in, was of different quality, but maybe a higher quality. But apart from that, no complaints. While staying at that, I wish the headlight was a little bit better. But then when you think about it, you realize that since it's a commute scooter, it's mostly going to be used during the daytime, and you won't be plugging it in for charging right at the night. So in that way, I guess you can forgive them for the headlights. But yeah, I wish this panel was different, and apart from that, I think it's put together quite well. So who's this scooter for? Well, basically, like I told you earlier in the video, if your commute is sub 60 kilometers, with a buffer in case of emergency, and you have easy access to a charging infrastructure. Well, for me personally, the week that we had this scooter, I had to take it up in the service lift up to my apartment and charge it at home, and take it back, because my apartment didn't have the charging infrastructure. So that sort of paints you the whole picture, right? So if you have a charging infrastructure in your society, at your home, I think it's quite easy to set it up, because you're in total control of the situation. If you have a charging infrastructure in the society, then definitely I think it makes a good statement when you want to use it as a daily commute. Apart from that, talking about the scooter itself, I think it's a very interesting one, and it actually brings fun back into the electric scooter. When we think about electric scooter, at least the ones we have seen so far, there's no fun element to it, and the Ather 450X brings that. So that itself is a huge thing, because as auto enthusiasts, we have seen what electrics are capable of. Electrics are capable of some beautiful things, beautiful acceleration times, and the Ather 450X gives you a taste of that. So thank you for watching. Do let me know if you have any questions specifically on the Ather 450X. We'll get back to you in a comment below. There are different ways of owning it. That's all a bit confusing to explain in the video. So if you leave a comment, if you have doubts on that, I can let you know in the comments below. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.